So I'm gonna install these new injectors, and you gotta face the injector with the hole to this side right here. And I stuck some lubber plate underneath this gasket right here, so that gasket don't slide off. And that lubber plate is engine building grease. I'll set it down in there easy. I'm going to give that a little bitty tap here in a minute. All injectors from Pere Marquette Diesel are 15% off MSRP until March 7th of 2014 when you mention the diesel stop. And on these connector tubes right here, we are going to be discarding these connector tubes right here, and I'll show you what I'm going to be running instead of these connector tubes here. See if we can get a good look in there. And there's 3 little pinholes in that connector tube right there to where the diesel flows through. And I'll get the new one to show you what it looks like. This is the new connector tube. It has been drilled out. As you can see, it's a clear through shot to the bottom right there. And like I said, this one here has not been drilled out. There's 3 little bitty pinholes in there. So, and then on top of that, you look at the bottom side and you can see it's a bigger hole on the one on the right. And I put some lubber plate on the gasket. So I'm going to slide that connector tube back in spot. And as you can see, that injector twisted just a little bit as I put it in there. So that's the difference between the old connector tubes and the new ones. And these connector tubes also came from Pere Marquette Diesel. They actually drilled these connector tubes for me. So I'm going to pull the rest of these connector tubes out here. So these new injectors are going in. Just make sure the hole's lined up towards the connector tube. Set your injector down in there. Just using the wooden part of the hammer. It's kind of hard for me to get up here on my bad knee and all, but so anyway, I'll take this connector tube and slide it in from the side here. And I did put some grease on the O-ring there. And I'll just kind of turn this just a little bit. I'm not prying very hard. This is just pretty easy. I'm making sure that connector tube's in there fairly good. And the next thing we'll do is start putting our retainers on our injectors. And I'm going to finish them on up back in there. You're going to torque the injector hold down brackets to 89 inch-pounds. And you want to start with this side first. Just make sure that bottom one's run down in there first, because otherwise you're not going to get the proper torque on that bolt there. I'll pull one of these out here real quick and show you what I'm talking about here. This bolt right here has to be flush with the head on the bottom of that shoulder right here on this bolt. The other bolt is just a regular bolt here, so whenever you put this in, you want to make sure that this is flush with the head before you torque it. Torquing them to 89 inch-pounds. So I couldn't finish this project up last night because I somehow or another I misplaced my 1/2 inch to 3/8 drive adapter, so I had to go to town today and get a new one. And then I've torqued down the rocker arms to 27 foot-pounds, and that's the bolt that goes down the center of the rocker arms there. So the next thing I'm going to do is put my injection lines on, and pretty much the rest of the side of the motor here, and then I'm going to go back and set the lash on all the valves. So one of the things that I'm going to do here before I put the injection lines on is just about every injection line I've ever seen that comes off of a Cummins, they have a little bit of corrosion there at the tips. If we can get the camera to focus here. So anyway, I've got a wire wheel with a really soft brush on it that I'm going to run around the ends of the injection lines. As you can see, they're kind of dirty. So I'm going to get these cleaned up and then spray some carburetor cleaner through the injection lines, and then force some air through them. So I've got the injection lines cleaned up here now. As you can see, I cleaned the threads up on them, and then the tip of the injection lines as well. And then I sprayed some WD-40 on them on the threads there. The next set of injection lines get put on here and torqued up as well. One of the things that you want to make for sure of is to get the proper torque on your injection lines that go into the head on each one of them there. If you got to torque an injection line down more than what it calls for to get the thing to stop leaking, you've got something wrong. This kind of gives you an idea right here how this works. This connector tube goes into your injector and it sits in your head like this here. Well, when you torque your injection line down, you're actually pushing this connector tube into the injector. Over torquing things is not the right way to go. So you just want to be sure that everything is correct and in its exact position, so you don't have leaking injection lines, and you don't have injection lines that's over torqued, which will eventually cause cracking and cause leaks and everything like that. And maybe even worse, you strip a line out inside the head there and you pull the threads on the inside of the head, and then you're going to be running ahead to the machine shop. And just to pull a head off one of these things, you're going to be into it quite a few more hundreds of dollars there between the head gasket and the machining of everything. So, and then not counting the time and labor. So, like I said, it's pretty crucial that you get everything at torque specs when you torque everything down. On the injection lines, you're going to use a 19 millimeter crow's foot whenever you torque your injection lines down onto your head there. So this is the 100 horse injector that was in this truck here. So now I'm just kind of putting everything else back on the bell crank and the intake and the grid heaters. One of the things I'm going to do real quick here is plug the injection pump back in. You got to plug your bell crank back in. Grid heater there. Plug in that starting fluid.